about the webinar or ask any questions. We'll be monitoring, the Twitter feeds, and the hashtag is FileCatalyst webinars, and so on. Yeah. My name is Elton, and I'm the Partner Integration Manager for FileCatalyst. I'm responsible for all partnerships from an ISV as well as a channel perspective. Thank you for joining us on this partner showcase. This webinar will show you how we can, how you can set up an end-to-end workflow in Vantage that allows you to accelerate file transfers of media content from an external FileCatalyst server into Vantage and pass the content through the workflow and distribute the converted content. We'll be running these webinars on a regular basis to share with you our partner solutions and show you how we work together. A little bit about FileCatalyst. We're an Ottawa-based software company founded, in the year 2000. We've always provided file transfer solutions. Since 2004, we've been focusing on accelerated file transfer solutions. Our products are horizontal, so that means we're a good fit for any industry who needs to reliably, securely, and effectively move data over the WAN, all while doing it in an efficient manner, i.e. accelerated and maximizing your bandwidth. The verticals we sell into include media and broadcast, enterprise, oil and gas, medical, and so on. Some of our customers in the media and broadcast space are NBC, the Saturday Night Live show, Jimmy Fallon, Sunday Night Football, Harpo, DreamWorks, Time Warner, BBC, Bell Media, ZTV, Al Jazeera, to name a few. FileCatalyst also recently nominated for an Emmy Award, and we won it. FileCatalyst is now also an Emmy Award-winning company. Before I hand it off to Bill, I would like to let you know that we'll be monitoring our Twitter feeds during this webinar. You can also, use the hashtag FileCatalyst webinars for that. At this point, I would like to introduce Bill Harris from Telestream, who will be a panelist on this webinar. Bill, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bill Harris. I'm the product manager for several products here at Telestream, including the third-party integration manager for everything into Vantage, which FileCatalyst is one. Vantage is a platform that's broadly adopted in the workflow automation space in media entertainment. At the heart of Vantage is its transcoding capabilities. We've taken the best of Flip Factory and put it into Vantage and augmented it and made it stronger. So it's a workflow automation tool that, as its heart, is transcoding. Telestream is a 16-year-old company, started in Nevada City, California in 1998 with offices worldwide. Our customer base is very similar to what Elton just described, NBC, CBS, BBC, Al Jazeera, ESPN, on down the line. Just about any media and entertainment group will have some kind of Telestream product in their mix. We include many partners in our integrations, including FileCatalyst. FileCatalyst is ideal for delivering media across wide area networks throughout the world, and it's a vital piece of many workflows that our customers are currently using. Back to you, Elton.
Cool. Thank you, Bill. So on the agenda today, we'll walk through an overview of the FileCatalyst protocol. We'll then talk about the FileCatalyst ISV partner ecosystem. I will then hand it off to Bill, and he will give us an overview and an introduction to Telestream and Vantage. I will then take over and give you a brief overview of the FileCatalyst Direct, and this is a solution that was integrated into Vantage. And then pass it off back to Bill, and he will talk about the FileCatalyst integration within Vantage. And then Bill and I will then talk about the value proposition, as well as have some time for Q&A at the end. As you can see, there's a lot of interesting topics to be covered today, so hopefully you'll enjoy it. So to start things off, let's take a look at the FileCatalyst technology at a high level. So what is the underlying problem FileCatalyst tries to solve? The answer is the effect of latency and packet loss on file transfers. Network latency is measured by sending a packet and receiving an acknowledgement. This is the round trip time, also known as latency. With FTP or any other TCP-based protocol, it's a very serial process. Each packet of data must be received before a new packet is sent. When you have the further distance apart between the two endpoints, the decrease in transfer speed occurs. With FileCatalyst, we completely saturate the pipe by sending multiple blocks of data. What this means is increased transfer speeds. So how does FileCatalyst overcome latency and packet loss? FileCatalyst built an efficient transfer protocol that allows users to transfer files at full line speed regardless of the latency or packet loss. The FileCatalyst protocol is a UDP-based protocol with a retransmission and congestion control built in. It is a patent-pending algorithm built from the ground up in-house. We are not affected by latency and speed degrades. However, we are linear with packet loss. Our technology has the ability to fully leverage a multi-core CPU architecture. In addition to FileCatalyst transferring files at full line speed, FileCatalyst has a congestion control built into its protocol. Network congestion occurs when a link is carrying more data than it can handle. The FileCatalyst technology plays nicely with other traffic on the network. Our congestion control algorithms can effectively determine what is the maximum receive rate and react to that. We have a customizable aggressive feature built in. Aggressiveness is the ability to determine how much link capacity FileCatalyst will try and continuously recover. This can be tuned to suit your network or workflow. FileCatalyst will share bandwidth with other applications on the network, email, YouTube streaming, Skype, etc. FileCatalyst can be configured to quickly release bandwidth when congestion is detected. This can be done through the aggressive, the aggression setting. FileCatalyst will perform background checks to determine if bandwidth has been released and will quickly speed up to reclaim this unused bandwidth. There's zero tuning required for any link between 1 megabit per second up to 1 gigabit per second. Our congestion control can be disabled when the technology is used in volatile networks such as over satellite connections. So, this is a simple chart showing you how FileCatalyst helps you save time. As you can see, the FTP column is affected by latency and packet loss. However, the time it takes to transfer a file with FileCatalyst remains the same regardless of the endpoint. The times reflected here are based on transferring a 6 gig file over a 45 megabit connection. So from LA to Hong Kong, we have about 250 milliseconds of latency between the two endpoints. FTP will take 44 hours, whereas FileCatalyst will take 20 minutes. As you can see, the time savings are about 138 times faster. From LA to Auckland, you're looking at an RTT of 200 milliseconds. FTP will take you 35 hours, while FileCatalyst still remains at 20 minutes. You're looking at about a time savings of 110 times faster using FileCatalyst. From LA to London, 110 milliseconds of latency. FTP will take 16 hours, whereas FileCatalyst takes 20 minutes to transfer the 6 gig file. You're looking at about close to 50 times, faster using FileCatalyst. At this point, let's take a look at our FileCatalyst ISV partner ecosystem. Here's a list of some of our partners. The FileCatalyst technology can be integrated into any software or hardware out there that has a need for file transfer. FileCatalyst has an extensive suite of APIs that can be used in any type of integration. We integrate with cloud vendors, like Amazon, ComputeNet, Azure, etc. With MAMs, storage vendors, QC applications, media workflow engines such as Telestream, as well as playout systems. Now I'm going to hand it over to Bill, and he can tell us about Telestream and their product Vantage. Bill, all over to you.
Okay, many of you out there probably know Telestream and perhaps even know Vantage. Vantage is a family of products for the video transcoding market. It is a multi-platform workflow automation tool. Specifically for distributing media from one organization to another. We fit into the broadcast, cable, VOD, IPTV, multi-screen markets, as well as many corporate markets in the video space. At the heart of Vantage is its transcoding, its quality of transcoding, speeds, and whatnot. We have a GPU accelerated model as well for accelerating MPEG-2, H.264 and BPL functions, and quite soon H.265 HAVC. We have many third-party partners as well in the QC space, file transport space, and video processing library space that can be utilized within workflows within Vantage. Vantage has a graphical user interface that allows workflows to be designed by simply connecting boxes together for different functionality. It allows for workflows that are decision-based and rules-based, from anywhere from a simple workflow to a very, very complex workflow. It can utilize incoming metadata, whether it be in a CSV text file, an XML file, or actually the media contained within the media file itself can be extracted to make decisions within a workflow. So complex workflows can be initiated to perform many tasks that you used to have multiple workflows to accomplish. The FileCatalyst portion of what we're doing it sits at the delivery end, and we can deliver to multiple FileCatalyst destinations depending on the decisions made within a workflow. And you can not only deliver to one single destination, but many, many destinations. So if you had, let's say, a distribution of a commercial spot that you wanted to have delivered throughout the world, that would be a very simple thing for Vantage to do with the FileCatalyst action plugin.
Thank you, Bill. So let's take a look at the FileCatalyst Direct solution. So this is the product that actually has been integrated into Vantage. So what is FileCatalyst Direct? It is a point-to-point file transfer solution requiring software at both endpoints, hence a server-client model. The client applications include the hot folder. So this allows you to perform automated and scheduled transfers within, with folder synchronization. FileCatalyst Express is a desktop client which allows you to transfer files in an ad hoc fashion. We have a web-based applet which can be embedded into any web page to offer either upload-only capabilities, download, as well as two-way functionality. We also have a headless applet that you can use to build your own interface on top of, however, still leverage the acceleration technology. As mentioned, we have a strong set of APIs that can be used for integration. In this case, our command line tool with our .NET wrapper was used to integrate into Vantage. And lastly, we have our mobile clients that can run on iOS or Android. Bill, over to you. Can you tell us about the FileCatalyst integration?
Sure. This is just what you see on the screen here is quite a simple workflow. What you see here really is a receive action that could ingest through an automated sense or through manual submission or through some SDK or API. It can be driven through many different mechanisms. But at the beginning is a receive action that would take in the media file and any associated files or metadata. The flip action would then transcode to the media that is required for the workflow. There's an identify action that would identify certain things within the media in order to make decisions. And then you've got two decision trees. Based on the information that is extracted from the media, a decision would be made to send to one or both destinations using a FileCatalyst action. Within that FileCatalyst action is the authentication for the server at the destination end. When that action is initiated, the transfer will start and is accelerated and is 100% secure for delivery to the other end. So media comes in, totally automated, is transcoded to the formats that are required, decision is made based on metadata that is contained within the media file and then delivered to its destinations automatically through the FileCatalyst delivery mechanism. So although this is a very simple workflow, other workflows can be have the same kind of functionality, but be a bit more complex. Let's say for an organization that had 10 to 15 different destinations, you could simply have a decision tree as part of the final process, and decision to deliver to that destination would be based on whatever metadata that might be coming in. Elton?
Cool. Yeah. So, and why should you use FileCatalyst technology within a Vantage workflow, Bill?
Using the FileCatalyst delivery action would be appropriate for many, many different organizations. I have 4 highlighted here. News organizations that require rapid deployment of stories and associated descriptions and metadata. That really would fit into the kind of workflow that I just showed in the previous slide. Those organizations, of course, news is important to get out to your affiliates as fast as possible. Using the FileCatalyst action for delivery is ideal for those types of organizations. In the same sense, sports highlights for delivery to agencies as well can be quite an important workflow to use. In movie production for delivering dailies throughout the world. Post-production for delivering spots and any kind of associated spot metadata that might be required for asset systems or systems that control ad spots. So those are 4 key industries that would use the FileCatalyst delivery action within Vantage. There are many more, but those are really the highlighted ones.
Cool. Thanks, Bill. So now, as Bill mentioned, the number of scenarios that where FileCatalyst, the delivery component, can be used. Let's take a look at some of them. So here's some workflows where you can either ingest content using FileCatalyst as well as deliver content. So the first one, is ingest content from either content creators, post-production houses, transcode it, and then deliver it to either post-production house or a broadcaster. The second scenario is deliver transcoded files to a broadcaster running FileCatalyst server. Another scenario is ingest files for transcode and then store it on an Amazon S3 for web playout. Another scenario is ingest from S3 and then deliver to a post-production house. So looking at the first scenario, the ability to ingest content from either content creator or a post-production house, transcode it, and then deliver it to a broadcaster or another post-production house. The components you'll require to achieve this is a FileCatalyst client, so either hot folder, Express, that's located at the content creator or post-production house. They will do an upload, so this is a push to a FileCatalyst server running alongside Vantage. You'd have a Vantage watch folder component in your workflow that's monitoring the file system for new content. And then you'll have a FileCatalyst delivery component at the end of the workflow to push to a broadcaster. So the FileCatalyst client uploads a file to a FileCatalyst server and to a user's home directory or a folder within the user's home directory. You can also use temporary file names if you don't wish for the file to be processed until it is completely received on the server side. The Vantage watch folder watches for media files and associated metadata, and then the workflow executes. The workflow decision can be also based on the metadata it's received. Vantage passes the completed file to the FileCatalyst delivery plugin. The delivery plugin is configured to point to a FileCatalyst server, and it will upload a file to that FileCatalyst server. In the same way, you can actually pull a file into Vantage. So you have the FileCatalyst server sitting at the content creator's location or post-production house. You have the hot folder running alongside Vantage. Again, you have the Vantage watch folder component and the workflow, as well as the FileCatalyst delivery component, in Vantage. So the hot folder is configured to download a file from a FileCatalyst server, from a user's home directory, and store it on a local folder on the same machine as Vantage. the Vantage watch folder will watch for media files and associated metadata once again, and it will execute the workflow accordingly. Once this is done, Vantage will pass a completed file to the FileCatalyst delivery plugin. The delivery plugin is again configured to point to a FileCatalyst server and will push the file to the FileCatalyst server. Scenario number 2 is, you have content and you want to deliver these files to a broadcaster running FileCatalyst server. So the content's already on the machine running in Vantage, so the Vantage watch folder watches for this new content. It starts up the workflow, and then again it points to a FileCatalyst server and hands the file off to the delivery component, which pushes the file to that the FileCatalyst server. As Bill mentioned, you can have multiple endpoints, so the workflow can be defined to push to multiple FileCatalyst servers at the same time. Looking into scenario number 3, whereby you're ingesting files for transcode and storing on an Amazon S3 for web playout. So again, FileCatalyst server is sitting at a content creator post-production house. The hot folder is running alongside Vantage, or you could have it in the reverse, the hot folder sitting at the post-production house, the server running alongside Vantage. You have the Vantage watch folder component and the Amazon S3 component in Vantage. FileCatalyst client will upload a file, or the hot folder will download the file from the server and store it on the local machine alongside Vantage. Vantage watch folder will watch for this content and associated metadata, executes the workflow, and then Vantage passes the completed file to the Amazon S3 storage component, which stores it to S3. Looking at the last scenario, you're pulling content from S3 and then delivering it to a post-production house. So the contents are already sitting in your S3 bucket. You have a FileCatalyst server sitting at the post-production house. You have the Vantage watch folder component within Vantage, as well as a FileCatalyst delivery component. Vantage S3 component will bring the file in from S3, execute the workflow. Then Vantage will pass the completed file to the FileCatalyst delivery plugin, which is pointed to a FileCatalyst server sitting at the post-production house, and the files will, end up on that server. So these are a few scenarios. Again, there's many more. You can use it in any combination. We've just described a couple, just so you can have a feel of what FileCatalyst can do within Vantage. At this time, I'd like to, invite our audience to ask any questions. They may have, there's a question panel on the GoToWebinar thing. As questions come in, I'll read them out so that everyone can hear the question. Then depending on the question, either Bill or myself will answer them. Bill, did you want to add anything at this point before the questions come in?
No, I think you did a great job. I'll wait for questions.
Yeah. So we have we have a question come in. Is that default implemented in Vantage? If yes, from which version, or is it a licensed feature? So I'm guessing this is talking about the FileCatalyst delivery plugin. Vantage, Bill, can you comment on that?
Sure, that is a licensed feature. That's the FileCatalyst connector will be an option within the Vantage license, yes.
Yeah, and from which version is it available?
It's available in 6.0 and above.
Cool. And we have another question. What is the value of the FC action within Vantage? So I'll answer this question, Bill. So when delivering files to a FileCatalyst server, to any endpoint out there, what happens is, as you have latency on the line, or the distance between the Vantage location and the endpoint can cause file transfers to to definitely slow down. Using the FileCatalyst delivery plugin, you're benefiting from the acceleration technology that FileCatalyst provides, and you can actually send this file to the endpoint as fast as your line speed allows you to. Okay. There's another question here. Does the Vantage integrator work with FileCatalyst Workflow or Direct, or both? So again, I can answer that question, Bill. So looking at the products, you can actually ingest content from a FileCatalyst client into Vantage. So if you look at FileCatalyst Workflow has the FileCatalyst Direct components built into it. So absolutely, you can use a FileCatalyst Workflow as a web-based front point whereby users can log into a web-based portal, select the files they want to ingest, and the files get placed on a FileCatalyst server running alongside Vantage, and then Vantage can take over the process and pick up those files, pass it to the workflow, and then distribute them to a specific point. We have another question here. Do you integrate with TMD MEM? Yes, we do integrate with TMD. If you need information on this, feel free to drop us an email at partners@filecatalyst.com, and we can send you some more information on this. I guess another question, what is the purpose and need for the FC delivery plugin? Why wouldn't you just use an FC watch folder at the end of the workflow? That's a great question. So there's two sort of schools of thought on transferring files. One is either watching a folder, as you mentioned, so to drop a file into a folder as content becomes available. The second is make it part of a workflow. As opposed to watching a folder, the Vantage workflow will tell the plugin to send the file as soon as it becomes available. So this way, it actually can decrease the amount of time depending on how often you're watching that folder to make the content transfer as soon as it becomes available. And the other question is about whether the session will be recorded. Yes, the session is being recorded. We'll be placing it on our website as soon as the webinar is done. We'll be converting it and putting it on our website. A link will be sent out to all attendees on where to download the webinar. Could you use to deliver media to broadcast servers, Grass Valley, K2 video servers? Bill, can you answer that question, or is that meant for FileCatalyst?
Sure. Yeah, Vantage has those delivery mechanisms built in, so that would use a different delivery mechanism. But we have those actions available for delivering into many, many different types of broadcast servers and server types.
Okay, cool, thanks. And we have another question coming in is, does FileCatalyst provide access to its queue? In particular, can we set priority on file transfers? Absolutely. So as file transfers are coming into the FileCatalyst server, you can see what transfers are coming in from what locations they're coming in from. At that point in time, you can actually change the priorities, allocate different bandwidths, specify delivery times, and so on to file transfers coming in. And another question is the FC action connector necessary to use FC with Vantage? Can't Vantage send files to an FC via a watch folder? So yes, we answered the question already. You can actually drop a file into a location, and the FileCatalyst hot folder can monitor that location and transfer files to a FileCatalyst server. And another question, is it possible to capture live feeds with a pipeline, have Vantage transcode to a file format, and while the video feed is coming in, can FileCatalyst start transfer the file as it grows? Yeah, actually, this is Bill, do you want to take over this one?
Yeah, actually, currently we can do the transcode as files are coming in. Delivering the files as they are being transcoded is not something we currently do. But it is on the roadmap to support that kind of workflow in the future.
Cool. And just talk about that. In terms of FileCatalyst itself, if the file is available to FileCatalyst as it's growing, FileCatalyst can transfer the file as it's growing. So depending on the type of workflows, we may be able to, whether it's outside Vantage, to transfer files as they start growing. The other question we have is, FileCatalyst plugin can improve current Vantage file move process? Yes, absolutely. So as you're moving content, across the world in that sense, the plugin provides you that acceleration to make sure your files are getting moved as fast as possible, as well as making sure the transfer is reliable and the file ends up on the other side. Is there any integration with Contemo DAM? As of right now, no. However, we are open to that. So if you would like to drop us an email again at partners@filecatalyst.com, we can discuss this with you. Yeah. And is there any there's another question about a practical example being shown today. As of right now, no, we will not be showing any examples. However, we will be exhibiting at IBC, so feel free to stop by Telestream's booth for a practical demo if you are attending. Otherwise, we can organize something outside this webinar to show you how FileCatalyst and Vantage works in a more practical fashion if you wish to see that. The other question we have is, does FileCatalyst support transfers of growing file? Yes, FileCatalyst supports transfers of growing files. So as the file is growing on disk, FileCatalyst can monitor that file and transfer it as it grows. Upon reaching the end of the file, FileCatalyst will check back on that file to see if it has grown any further and transfer what the parts that have grown. And it will continue to do so until the file stops growing. We do have advanced functionality to specify timeouts, so how long you should wait before you deem a file transfer, sorry, a file has stopped growing, and we deem it as a successful transfer. So the other question is, do you support growing files, but do you support modification of the file, like updating the metadata in the header? So yeah, we support the ability to transfer growing files. As of right now, we don't support the ability to modify, the headers and stuff. However, in the next version of FileCatalyst, we will have some functionality that will allow you to, make sure the modified file is replicated on the other side and so on. At this point in time, if there are any other questions, we've reached the end of the question list. We'll wait a couple more seconds before any more questions come in. So our next webinar will be in September following IBC. Feel free to join us. That webinar will be on a FileCatalyst component or FileCatalyst feature. We'll be announcing the topic in the upcoming weeks. At this point in time, I would like to thank all our attendees, for joining us on this webinar. I hope you, enjoyed it, and thank you to, Bill Harris for taking the time to be a panelist on this webinar and show us how FileCatalyst and Vantage, work together and what, this combination can do for you in that sense. Bill.
All right. Thanks a lot again. I hope to see everybody at IBC.
Cool.